Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. And tonight we are joined by director Hunter Johnson and star Eva Hamilton of the movie called Sawed Off, which is premiering October 11th on DVD and digital. Guys, welcome to the show. How are the both of you doing?
Just great. How are you guys?
I'm great. Eva, how about you? You feeling good tonight?
I am having a lovely day so far. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
Are
Thank you.
you excited about the film coming out in just about
Yes.
2 weeks?
Very excited. I'm thrilled. Yeah.
So let's get down to it. Like we were talking a little bit before we went live, Hunter. This movie takes us on this wild and crazy ride. You are one out of three credited writers. How did you guys come up with this wild story?
Well, it's cool. We were approached with the comic book, or the comic that Chuck Wagner wrote, and he had written a script to kind of adapt it. And James Bressick, one of the producers of the film, gave Jody and I the script, and we read it, and he had a lot of crazy ideas that he wanted to interweave into the script that Chuck had wrote. So Jody and I took it, and we kind of brought in James's ideas and brought in a couple of our own ideas, and just kind of made this blend of weird, crazy horrorness that kind of goes all over the place in a fun way.
It does. It's a very
Yeah.
fun ride. It's an absolute fun ride. Now, Eva, you play Marjorie, and very interesting character. Let's take Marjorie. Let's go from the beginning of the movie. When she invites her two exes up to her family's cabin, do you think her motivations are benign? Like she's just inviting two of her exes who are friends over to her family cabin for a little bit of hunting over the weekend?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that there's clearly some kind of like eerie elements of what's going on, and I think she's aware of it. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah.
So I gotta ask you, Eva, as the movie progresses, I mean, how did you come to terms with basically Marjorie inviting two of her exes? I mean, it's not a normal type of situation, and it's actually brought up in the film as well. Two of her exes together on the weekend. Is it just the fact that they're such good friends now? The fact that they're ex-boyfriends? I mean, the friendship part overshadows anything else?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the three of us have been friends for a long time. There's a lot of history. To me, it kind of feels like, that really strong bond you have with people in childhood where as you get to adulthood, it's like sort of everything that happened in between then goes by the wayside because you
Okay.
just are that connected. So I think that's kind of underlying.
Okay, gotcha. Now, Hunter, this movie has a lot of special effects to it. Was that challenging for you as a director of this film, having to incorporate all those special effects and make it work on whatever budget you had?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest challenges that we had, and thankfully Oliver Poser, our effects artist, was very talented. I had worked with him on a couple other projects in the past, so when we decided to do the film, he was the first guy we called. And yeah, it was challenging. It's the most effects I've ever dealt with in a film. They're pretty much all practical effects, which was a lot of fun, but also when you're, crunch for time and you sometimes you only have a couple takes, it definitely ramps up the pressure a little bit. But
Yeah.
but they were a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun to just throw blood on everybody and get real gross.
Now, Eva, Marjorie, it's noted throughout the film that there are still feelings between her and John. Maybe there's still some feelings between the two. Uh, like we said, as the movie progresses, is she being genuinely honest with him about those feelings, or is she sort of holding something back? Because as the film goes on, we find out that there's a master plan for John.
No, I think she's being fully genuine.
Okay, so she definitely still has feelings for him, and she's open to rekindling it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there is a bigger thing at hand going on. So I do think that, influences my character's behavior. But as
Hmm.
far as me mentally and internally, what I'm thinking, I am being genuine. Like
Okay.
I don't think this other stuff is happening in a conscious way.
Okay, gotcha. Now, Hunter, sort of combined science fiction, horror, and a little bit of comedy. Did you have any reservations on how you were going to pull that off to make it sort of coalesce the way you wanted it to?
Well, we knew that with the script in the story that we were going to tell, that it was inherently campy, in that there was funny moments. But one thing that when we were in early rehearsals with Jody and Trey and Eva, that I stressed, was that to play everything very, very straight,
Hmm.
because it's the story itself is funny and gruesome and ridiculous at a lot of moments, but I think that it feels even funnier and even more gruesome and even more ridiculous when everyone is playing it as if this is real life and it's
Yeah.
actually happening, and dig deep for those true human emotions. And to the cast credit, they just absolutely killed it. I think it would have been real easy to make it a cornier movie with lesser actors, if that makes sense.
No, no, it
No,
makes,
no, no, no judgment to campy movies. I love funny, silly, campy
yeah.
movies too. But we definitely tried to play it very straight in tone, and with the score and how we shot it, to try to ground it in reality, even though nothing is what it seems in reality.
All right. Now that brings me to you again, Eva, because you get a lot of revelations as this film progresses, and you have to display real, true emotional shock so the audience could buy into it, and you do it very well. Like real, unbelievable stuff you're looking at, and you're like, "How is this possible?" So did Hunter really guide you through that whole process, or was it vice versa? He got out of your way and he let you do your job as an actor.
Well, I think a little bit of both. As far as, I mean, we did have rehearsals, which were really like amazing. I remember going into the first rehearsal, which was just a table read, and I didn't really know a ton about what to expect based on the tone of it. And then as soon as I heard everybody, all the actors, and just the very naturalistic and ultra skilled, performance that they gave, even just at the table read, it was like, okay, I get what this is. I get what we're going for. And Hunter did talk a lot about, playing it straight and what exactly, how we would address it, as far as just this is really what's happening. So I think we discussed the way it would be played beforehand. And then Hunter was also a very giving director, in that he did really let me kind of go with it when we were shooting, and it was really fun.
Hunter, let's talk about Marjorie's evil doppelganger, for a lack of a better term, in the movie. In your opinion, what does that entity represent?
Well, it's oh, I could really get into it. With the broad answer is nature, and it's the antithesis of greed, and a kind of a way to punish people for taking too much.
Yeah.
Now we hint at it throughout the film, but it's never like explicitly like driven home, like this is what it is. But it's kind of up to the audience's imagination. There are some clues that we worked into the script as to like what is really going on, but it's never really written out and
Yeah.
shown to the audience, which is kind of how I like it, because often the imagination is scarier than what you actually see on screen anyways.
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
agree. Now, staying with you, Hunter, as the story goes on, we hear Marjorie tell the story about the family, her family, and the land. Are we to believe that the events that unfold are happening to Marjorie? This is her first time without, we gotta phrase it that way, not to give away any spoilers, but is this a story to her at that point when she's actually telling the story around the campfire. And as the events unfold, she realizes, wait a minute, this could be more than just a family folklore or story.
Yeah, I think that all the characters have pure intentions, at least at the very top of the film. So I think that in particular that scene, I do think that they might all kind of be laughing it off, and maybe this is just family legend, but it also could just be a fun ghost story, and that's also one of the things that's never really driven home, if it's one way or the other, but you kind of find out as the film progresses that, oh, maybe there is something to this story, and maybe I don't know if Marjorie has necessarily gone through it, or if anyone has gone through it at that campfire, but it's begun at that point.
And that's just one of the things that's left up to the viewer to decide, especially with the ending of the film. Now, Eva, doing those scenes and makeup in the woods, was that fun for you, or was it like in the middle of winter, you just had just like a nightgown on? Was it cold as hell? Describe the shooting conditions. Describe the shooting conditions for us.
Yes and yes. It was really, really fun, and it was very cold.
If I could chat. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I think it started lightly snowing at one point, right?
Yeah. We originally were planning to shoot in March in northern Wisconsin, and we ended up delaying the shoot, or pushing the shoot a month, because we knew we were going to have actors running around in the woods at night, and we had a few overnight shoots. So we pushed it to April thinking, oh, the weather will be significantly better by then. And we got the coldest April weather in the history of Wisconsin. The day we left, it was 75 degrees and sunny. But every night we were there, I think it topped out at 28 or 30 degrees each night. So those actors, you guys were the true champions for real for doing all that in the frigid cold. I had 10 layers on.
It was worth it. It was amazing. I think it looks good. It was totally worth it. And when you're in that moment, it's yeah, you're cold, but it's just so much fun that kind of overshadows it.
Yeah, the reward is definitely worth it. And I've been to northern Wisconsin, and I know how cold it is up there. Hunter, working with a 3-person cast, did you have to cut down the story, the cast, or because of COVID, or was it always going to be a 3-person story?
It was always going to be a 3-person story, and that was one of the main changes that we took from the original Chuck Wagner script. Had a lot of different characters and a lot of things, and we said, let's just really dice this down, and just make it about these 3 characters, and get 3 great actors to lead this story. So COVID was a thing at the time, but that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. We were always planning on doing just a 3-actor character piece that gets real gory and nasty and fun. Okay.
Now, Eva, for me, when we reached the end of the film, just before the credits roll, I feel bad for Marjorie for what she has to endure. When you saw the finished product, sort of separating yourself, being Marjorie herself, how do you feel for that character and what she is involved in right now and being stuck in a way?
Yeah, I think it's very sad, really. It's it's like an eternity trapped in this just repeating experience. And I think particularly going into it with very genuine intentions, to see that happen to that character in the end is, it's very sad.
It is. Hunter, we said, we know about the family, we know about the land, but as the viewer, I could see viewers like myself, a big takeaway is that there is an even bigger element here besides the family, the greed, the land, what they were promised and what they had to do to get all that there's some kind of universal bigger element. Is that just, one of the theories that you saw people walk away from, from watching this film?
Yeah, that'll be in Sawed Off too. I'm just kidding. We were, trying to make a little statement about just being happy with what you have, and not asking for too much.
Exactly. We're almost out of time, but Eva, I want to leave it with you. Working with John and Frank, the characters' names, and the three of you and the small cast and crew, did you all become really close friends during the whole shooting process?
Yeah, it was actually, I mean, honestly, I think that really lended itself to the experience because it was a really small cast and crew, and everybody was pretty, wonderful human beings. And I know most of them knew each other. I was kind of a newcomer coming in, but us all just like living together and being together throughout, I think was very helpful, particularly character wise, because the three of us are supposed to go back and, quite a while and have known each other for a long time. And yeah, I mean, being able to wake up and have coffee and talk about what we're doing, even that early in the day when we're shooting, very helpful. And I really loved getting to know everybody. I think I think that element of it being so close really shows in the final product. I think it worked very well.
It did. Now, Hunter, since Eva is here, let's talk about Eva. So, Eva, just pretend you're not listening to this. But what sold Eva to you as your Marjorie for this film?
I had heard great things about Eva in multiple years leading up to this particular film. And when we were originally, she was one of the first names that kind of got tossed around. And, I had watched some of her work. I know Jeff, one of our EPs, had worked with you, Eva. So I felt like it was kind of just meant to be honest with you. It just worked out really great. The people that hadn't worked with her kind of knew her reputation was very good, and that she was a great actor and professional and all that stuff. And then the people that had worked with her said, "Yeah, all that's true." so it ended up working out just great.
It did. Congratulations to the both of you. For our viewers, again, the movie's called Sawed Off. It is going to be available on DVD and digital October 11th. This movie it's wild, it's crazy. You're going to go on a journey for 90 minutes and you're not going to see half the stuff coming. So check it out. You won't be disappointed. I want to thank our guest, director Hunter Johnson, and star Eva Hamilton, for joining us tonight to talk about Sawed Off. Hunter, I'll leave it up to you. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share before we go?
I hope I pack a chainsaw. That's it.
Very well said. Very well said. I want to thank our audience, those of you who are tuning in live, and those of you who will be watching this later on. On behalf of Hunter, Eva, and myself, stay safe and stay walking. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.